And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. If you didn't catch the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, we covered our thoughts in a more extended and a little bit of a spoilerish fashion. Our thoughts, TJ Johnson and I, on Superman, the movie. Hopefully you've caught it already. If you haven't, our thoughts in detail are there, plus also as well, Xbox. Game Pass is getting some criticism from those within the industry, and our thoughts on that. Plus, we had to cover the big hit on Netflix, K-pop Demon Hunter. So if you want to go ahead and check out our thoughts on all this great stuff in the world of pop culture, each and every week, twice a week, every Monday and Friday, we drop new episodes right there for you on the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. Want to give a big shout out also as well to our good friend Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Also as well, of course, that's what we'll discuss, Miguel. That's what we'll discuss. But of course, also as well, want to go ahead and make sure you give a shout out to the Lakerholics at Lakerholics.com. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, like I said. Also, of course, don't forget Empire Jeff TV, cover the Lakers and Dodgers. Don't forget Joe Sorrell, if he decides to stop on in. I did tell him I was going on today at 10, so hopefully he will stop on by. Go ahead and make sure you catch Joe on the Joe Sorrell channel on YouTube, or Joe Sorrell The Experiment on playback as well. Don't forget, speaking of playback, we'll have it on for you tomorrow, live from Las Vegas. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll be able to catch the first half there live, and then I'll be back for the post game around 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. So I'll get a chance to go ahead and see at least some of the game live in the Thomas and Mack tomorrow. Plus, then again, I will be on a little bit earlier for the post game for the Lakers, because remember, it's on at 6 p.m. So stop on by playback and check it out. So go ahead and make sure you check us out each and every time out right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Hopefully, if you got a chance, you got to see a little clip I put of a previous episode between Joe Sorrell and John Costa. Shout out to John Costa, Clutch Talk of Lakers Corner. If you got a chance to go ahead and check it out, they were smack talking each other about a supposed one-on-one matchup. Will they have it? Will they won't? I don't know. We'll see. They certainly were talking a great game. So go ahead, check it out. It's only about a couple minutes long right there for you right here on the channel as well. Speaking of being on this channel, if you could please like and subscribe, follow our good friends as well on Twitter. Of course, Alfred Esmond on Twitter. Of course, at report_court, aka Stone Hansen on Twitter. And of course, don't forget Legend I Got Next Sports Media as well. All these great people, all these great things, all these great places on the intranet you need to check out. Don't forget to check us out here each and every time out by liking and subscribing right here to the Lakers Fast Break podcast. And if you remember, you got that exclusive video first between Joe Sorrell and John Costa. That was up a day and a half ago. So little treats like that I send out to my members for just $2.99 a month. Indeed. Dan Inspiration says Lakers goals get Horford and a defensive wing. Well, I don't think the Horford thing's going to happen. I think they're just waiting in Golden State to go ahead and line him up there. JSJ, DK Bonanza, potential game of the year. It's got a 91 on Metacritic now. IGN certainly was slobbering all over it. So they gave it a 10. So definitely potential there for game of the year. You never know. Dan Inspiration again says Lakers really don't need any more offense. They need defense, but defense with dudes with no butterfingers like Vando. I agree. I absolutely agree. Intel Wild is here as well. Great to have him here. Great to have everyone here. Johnny, Lakers better sign Darius Baisley and trade Vando. No, I'm sorry. If Johnny, after that last game, right in front of Rob Pelinka, he scored 1 point in front of Rob Pelinka. I think his chances to really make an imprint on the team went up in smoke right there. Intel Wild, appreciate the super chat as always. Podfather, do you think we should trade Austin? I thought we should have traded Austin before the draft. I thought we should have traded him for a player or players and a pick in this year's draft to get 2 or 3 players for him. That's what was my opinion. I had that well before the draft. I had that right near the draft. I had that right on the draft. And even after the draft. I mean, you can still get some assets for him. He could walk or we could overpay. Well, I've said this before, Intel. I mean, there's the very real possibility if we need to sign him, if he has another 25-5 season, even if it's like 18-4-4, let's just say, even if it's a little step back, it doesn't matter. That's still going to be probably around $28-30 million he's going to be asking for a year. And you got to ask yourself, is that worth it next year on the open market? We'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't pay it. Certainly wouldn't for someone who I think is best suited in a 6-man role on a championship winning team. That's just my opinion. I think that's his best path of success, but he doesn't think so. And obviously, if I was his agent, I wouldn't think so either. He's got to be starting and continue to start because he's going to get paid. This is his one real chance to get a multi-year big money contract. So I think after that contract would go away, he'll be in his 32, 33 season, 30 right in there. So the money won't probably be as available to him, and multi-year contracts won't be as long, and the money won't be as big as it will be next summer. Johnny Pedrosa says, would you trade AR for Robert Williams and Thibault? Not Thibault. I don't know why you guys. What is this talk with Thibault lately? Get off of the Thibault talk. You shoot better than Matisse Thibault, Johnny. And I've never seen you shoot. So come on. You got to do better than that. You got to do better than that. And Robert Williams, I mean, he might get hurt. It might blow out his knee again coming down the flight of stairs. But I would have taken him and the Trailblazers first-round draft pick. I actually said that leading into the draft. I would have taken the 15 pick and Robert Williams for AR. That I would have been interested in. But c'est la vie. C'est la vie. Once again, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Again, I think we should trade Austin because you're going to lose Rui for nothing. But you can't get as much for Rui as you can for Austin. So you've got to ask yourself, in order to go ahead and build this team for now and for the future, what are your choices? But it seems like with the, I should say, again, as I said before, one step in, one step out, as far as not really committing to an all-in scenario to help this team get to a championship level now. And they're saving their money, as Empire Jeff would say, for 2027. That's great. Jokic may not be there. Jokic could sign an extension next year, and that'll be it. Giannis, 33-year-old Giannis, you going to sign there? I know Joe's more convinced on his athletic ability being at a high level at that point in time, and it probably still will be to some great extent, but he's had some miles by that time. He's had some injuries by that time, so you are taking a little bit of risk if you're going to sign him to a 4 or 5 year contract in 2027, if he's going to be available at that time. Brad says, I'm not sure if Bazley's a real step up over Koloko. Brad, I think we're talking about 2 players who are just, at best, maybe fringe players, 2-way players at best. Bazley, again, he had a chance to impress on Monday and didn't get it done. Rob was right there. And the only player that impressed outside of Bronny was Cole Swider. And we've already had the Cole Swider experience before. We know what his limitations are. We know what he can and cannot do. And again, if Dalton Connect wants to know a possible future for himself, if he doesn't commit to playing better defense, being more focused, trying to go ahead and make a greater effort on both sides of the ball, like he hasn't done this summer, he just has to look over and see Cole Swider fighting for his NBA life to realize that could be him 2-3 years down the line. But we'll wait and see. Dennis Parrish said, I would trade Gabe with Dalton any wing we could get. That's a good thing. Yeah, that could be a possibility as well, Dan. I think, again, you got to start utilizing those assets that you have, and those expiring assets are great, but I would like to do that. I want this team to win now. You have 1 year left in LeBron. Maximize it. You have potentially an MVP season up ahead with a in shape Luka Doncic. Maximize it. But you're not. Again, Joe Soro and others are always arguing about, wait till Mark Walter gets here. Everything's going to be fine. I don't have any doubt about him saying things will get better with Mark Walter being here. I get that. I understand that. That's great. I understand it. But do you sacrifice a season in place of it? And that's something I think that is the question for individuals like Sean and I who don't want to commit to that, because, again, we see a pathway where if you make the right additions to help Luka and LeBron, you absolutely can make sure you can compete higher. Mark still has and shout out to Mark. He just sent me a message. I just saw it, my friend. Hopefully all is well with you down under, my friend. I wanted to go ahead and say that Mark has really high thoughts on this team. I'm say the Lakers are competitive, but they can get better. They do have deficiencies, which you can address with trades now and make this team better now and make this team competitive for a title even more so now. But I understand they don't want to commit to long-term money in order to do so. And that was really, really disappointing from what I've seen so far. Yeah, they can still make a move. There's still plenty of time. But Rob didn't look like a guy when I saw him live for 2 hours sitting there, about 10, 12, 13, I don't know how many, just about a dozen rows ahead of me. Didn't seem like a guy who was very much looking forward to making any more moves here in the next 90 days. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping so. Xbox, again, is being Mr. Positive, and I really appreciate him being positive. But Luka, Ayton, and the boys, unfortunately, I don't have that kind of faith, because Ayton, again, you are getting on a low risk, high reward possibility for him, but he has to stay focused. He knows he's at a point where he has to produce. He has to produce in order to get a decent contract next summer when he could become a free agent. With Jake LaRavia is coming off his best season by far, because his career before that season was in doubt because of the fact that he had his 4th-year option takeaway because he was such a disappointment leading up to last season. He got the message. And he produced. Will that continue now that he's got a decent-sized contract at $6 million each? If it doesn't work out, that's not a problem, because, again, $6 million, moving that off next year, it's not going to be that bad. So, Jake LaRavia, again, will he replace the production of DFS? We'll have to wait and see on both sides of the ball. But our bench is still atrocious. We had the second worst bench in the NBA last year, guys. That's something you have to put into context. The second worst bench in the NBA. And a lot of that wasn't just the fact that, the Lakers had to play their starters a lot of minutes. A lot of it is the fact that the Lakers just didn't have any type of consistency or anyone that they could count on coming off that bench outside of DFS. And even DFS had bad days as well. So, yeah, Bloodhound says, with this team to be solved in one season, I think there's enough that could be solved that could get you at a higher realm and get you as far as being competitive in the playoffs. I think there's enough that you could fix, but you have to sacrifice those expiring contracts. You have to go ahead and trade those expiring contracts. But if you're looking towards 26 or 27, then again, we're looking at a season where we're just not going to be good enough to get over the hump, no matter how good Luka is. In a playoff scenario, Luka is just one individual, a superstar, a tremendous player. But with him, a LeBron at 41 years of age at that time, we don't know how much that's going to play out. Remember, the Lakers have a terrible bench, so he's going to have to play the same kind of minutes he did last season. He's going to be exhausted going into the playoffs because the Lakers did not address their needs. Brian says, fire Rob. Joe says that's going to be coming at some point in time. I believe Mark Walter will get his individuals in there, but when? Could it be 5 years down the line if Jeannie Buss, who is rumored to be staying for 5 years, has her way? Could it be something more tangible? Could it be something a lot sooner? We'll have to wait and see. Steve said Rob could be pushed out by the end of September when a new owner comes in. He certainly doesn't look like he's very nervous. I saw him live on Monday, and he didn't look very nervous to me. Well, Intel, I think we had a chance, an opportunity earlier this summer before they signed Herb Jones to an extension. I understand Trey Murphy was already on extension, but I really would have gone and given my assets for a Trey Murphy, Herb Jones package. Maybe if you were able to throw Misi and Alvarado on the cheap as well and trade your expirings for that and maybe a first, whatever assets you had on that would have been something that would have made us competitive for a championship right now. Because you put 2 40% shooters, an elite defender right alongside Luka. You put Trey Murphy at the 3, big time shooter, can also defend at a high level, young, athletic, both of them. That's who I would have gone for. That's who I would have picked up the phone. And as soon as Joe Dumars, it was right there, got the job, would have just called him because I know if you've seen the new people in place in New Orleans, you realize that they have a history of bad management. You could have gone and been able to go ahead and ask for that. And they're right now tied up in the future of Zion and whether or not they want to commit to Zion long term because of the fact he has non-guarantees all the time. That he has that won't get guaranteed unless he meets a certain amount of requirements as far as games played and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Pelinka has been solid. I don't know, 805. 805, we might have a disagreement on that. He has been very up and down. Solid is not the word I would use for Pelinka. Inconsistent is what I would use for his performance. Take a look at his overall resume. The highs and the lows over the past, let's say this since 2019. High of helping to build a championship team. He also then after that, sent away certain individual members of the championship team and decided to go ahead and get Schroeder, and he brought him in. That started the downfall there, and obviously they couldn't get it done the next year. Next year after that, everybody seems to gloss over the fact that in 2022, he had all of his signings and all of his acquisitions made up to almost seemingly like the 2014 NBA All-Star team. But that was 8 years prior. So that is going to help you in 2022. They were old. They were the oldest team in the NBA, and they looked it. The 2023, he had that one magical period of time where he had some pretty good acquisitions that helped the Lakers and vault the Lakers to a period of time where they were in the conference finals, but they got swept. So you might want to give him some credit there. Year after the JHS debacle, let's not forget committing to THT over Alex Caruso. Again, let's not even forget the biggest debacle of all. Him trading for Russell Westbrook. I don't care about the dinner. I don't care about LeBron, Magic. If you've got the balls, you say no. If you know it's a bad trade, you say no. If you know getting Westbrook is bad for your team, you say no. 805. So that is a very rocky road. And I will give Rob Pelinka credit for, when Nico Harrison called, or they had lunch, or what the story was, they had lunch at LA Live one time. I think that's when he dropped about it. Again, so many stories, it all intertwines itself. But whenever Nico told him, say, hey, I think I want to trade Luka to you guys because I really want to go ahead and get Anthony Davis. Okay, he got the deal done, and I have to give him credit for getting it done with only a first-round pick. I will give him credit. So again, very uneven, very uneven. So we will see 805. Again, Pelinka's stature as a GM, many of the experts say out there he's not a top 15 GM in the league. I would put him right there between 15 and 20, I think. 22, 23. I could probably think of a lot better GMs than him. Personally, again, his track record's up and down, but he has gotten enough done to warrant to see how this thing will carry itself through the season. I don't see Mark Walter coming in and making drastic changes. I see him building around the foundation, about getting a lot of people in place, building up around the foundation, the depleted areas that Genie couldn't afford to build around, as far as in training, as far as in scouting, as far as in other aspects where they've skimped and penny pinched. Mark Walter hopefully will understand that, observe that, and be able to improve along those lines right away. If Rob doesn't get it done this season, sure, they could I would not be surprised by the end of the season if he gets the axe. It could be if it's a disappointing season, but I don't think he's getting the axe in September because, again, if Genie is supposedly staying on for another 5 years, if the reports are true, and that all dictates back to when Ramona Shelburne, at the time of the sale, or the time of the sale was first going to announce that was going to happen, she had reported that she was going to be as a governor for quite some time. So we'll have to wait and see. Brandon Boston is a wing. He's pretty solid, Johnny, but I would actually Amir Coffey. I'm on the Intel wild train on Amir Coffey. I would have said you could get him right now on the cheap. He's still out there, 40% shooter, played on a Clippers team that was top 5 in the NBA last year. Could do worse. Could do worse than a 6'7" player like that who could help your team. Steve, what's going on, my friend? Hope you like and subscribe. Rob could get fired, but it depends on the new owner. Did he say things? Yeah, you're right. It's on the. It's also dependent on the agreement that was made, because the way that these things are going down, Steve, like the Boston sale, where the owners, they sold the team but stay in place in a leadership role for the foreseeable future. That will change at some point, but as for now, it is what it is. But if that was part of the deal, if that was part of the intended underlining thing, is, hey, I'm going to sell you the team, but guess what? I'm going to be governor for X amount of the years. I'm going to go ahead and still manage things going forward. That's going to suck, but if that's what the implied deal was, I'm sure Mark Walter will honor it. I'm hoping that's not the case, and I'm hoping Mark Walter gets to go ahead and make changes day one. But, Steve, I'm not counting on it because I hear all this conflicting stuff in regards to everybody out there saying that, again, that Jeannie's going to be the governor for quite some time. And if she has her say, she's very tight with Pelinka. And if you saw Pelinka the way I saw Pelinka on Monday, just sitting back, casually kicking back with JJ Redick right there. Those guys look like that they didn't have a care in the world right now, which leads me into my thoughts. And I want to hear your thoughts on this. So if you got a chance to see before the game, the Lakers and the Clippers on Monday, you got to see what I saw live. LeBron coming in just before tip-off, making a big to-do. Everybody, brings crowd noise and all that. He comes in, he starts high-fiving people, starts dabbing people, and then He passes by the Lakers bench and dabs Rob Pelinka, giving him into a wild, the half hug with the dab. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. They seem to talk for a moment. They seem to laugh, seem to smile, enjoyed each other's company for a few seconds. And then he went to his side of the seats that he was on, near actually the Lakers players that were watching from the other side, including Austin Reeves, Jackson Hayes, DeAndre Ayton, and the like. So I want to hear your thoughts. Is all good now in Lakerland with the dab seen around the world in social media? Don't think, I think at least on the surface, for the public view, it is. Whether or not it's what he wants, whether or not what he sees he likes, as you and I both know, talking about LeBron over the course of many years now, don't always believe what you see. But again, yeah, Brad, he did want Westbrook. He did want Westbrook. But again, if you have the balls and the guts as a general manager, okay, let's say SGA had a meeting with Westbrook and whatnot. No, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to OKC and all that. But Sam Presti, Sam Presti knows his deficiencies and weaknesses. He would probably say, you know what, SGA, I'll bring him back on a one-day contract to finish out his career, but I'm not bringing him back on a regular contract. I really don't think that's wise because of what he can and cannot do. He was a poor fit from the start. You could see that. I called it on that day. If you remember, because I utilized, and I remember on that day, the thing with me is, if you remember that series in the bubble between the Lakers and Houston, how they played Russell Westbrook. That's how you play Russell Westbrook. If you want to clip and see how you would play Russell Westbrook, there it is. They absolutely befuddled him. They played drop coverage on him. They let him shoot from distance. If he made one, that was great, but the most times he missed because he's one of the active leaders with the worst shooting percentage from behind the line for many years. Now he's gotten a little bit better from the sides. He did in Denver. So from the corners, he's a little bit better. In fact, he I think he shot close to 40% from the corners. Fortunately, he doesn't like to always shoot from the corners, but with Westbrook at that period of time, Brad, if you're the GM, you've got to have the balls to say no. You are the one that is supposed to be responsible for all player decisions, all player views. Ultimately, it is your choice to decide which players are on and stay on the team. And he could have said no. I would have said no. And I know I would have said no. I don't care how much LeBron or Clutch Power has. It was something. If you guys ever go look back at, it's still up on the channel, and my thoughts on the day he was traded, you'll understand what I mean. I drove from LA to Las Vegas early to go on the air to tell everyone what a bad trade that was. And again, you have to sometimes see the forest from the trees on that one. So I will just leave that. Bloodhound said Braun and AD wanted Westbrook. They orchestrated. No, Bloodhound. You could say they orchestrated the trade because Rob Pelinka had no guts to say no. I don't care if they orchestrated whatever trade. He is the boss. He was the general manager at that time. He's now the president of player operations. He could have said no. And if you're a good GM, Sam Presti would have said no. Most of the major GMs would have said no. I understand that the Denver GM said yes to Westbrook because Jokic wanted him. But you guys got to stop it. He did not understand what Rob understands now. You don't let the players decide who you want in that team. If you're a good talent evaluator, you don't make that mistake. Steve says Kuminga is under contract. They can sign him whenever. Yeah, he's been tendered an offer. He's a restricted free agent currently. I don't know if it's around 7, but there is a restricted offer for Kuminga right now. He can sign that, play that contract out, and become a free agent next summer, or he can still wait for something to magically be done as far as maybe possible sign and trade. But with each passing day, Steve, as you and I both know, Yeah, it's not looking likely. Izzy said Rob traded for. No, I didn't say he was a bad GM, Izzy. I said his career. Listen to what I'm saying, Izzy. His career has been up and down, up and down. One good decision does not a GM make. Look at his entire scope of his decision making over each and every season. You cannot say he is an elite GM. Now, every GM makes mistakes. I believe that Sam Presti himself gave 3 picks, I think, for Usman Dieng, and he's turned out to be not that great. So every GM has something as far as a talent evaluator that they miss on. But again, understand the track records. And if you talk about that trust in Rob or how great Rob Pelinka is and all that, you have to look at the whole story before you say whether or not he's a good, bad, or just an up and down GM. He has an up and down career, but he did get it right on the Luka transaction. And again, we'll leave it at that. But here also as well, good man indeed. It is, of course, Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here. I was just finishing my Chipotle burrito before I went on the air. So it's so funny because we're both eating this late at night. Into Wild says, imagine if we would have kept Zubats, then Caruso, KCP, and Kuz. How different would we look now? I don't know about the Kuz thing, Wild, because I was really a big fan of Kuz when he was the Lakers, but as you've seen, his career has tailed off. Yeah, just he got that big fat contract and just went off the deep end for him. Zubats, I know Empire Jeff hates these words, but Rob was in the room for that. But would he have overrode Magic? Would he have shouted at Magic? Would he have pleaded with Magic not to do the trade for Mike Muscala? I don't know. I wasn't in that room, but I certainly would have. I certainly would have told Magic. I said, "You're making a big mistake if you did." Said it then, and I'll say it now. Yep, but it is what it is. KCP, I think he had a couple good years left with the Lakers before. You would have to make something. Obviously he had his Orlando year last year, really a miserable year, but he had good years. He helped lead Denver to a title, so he had good productive years. You could have kept on to him as well. So yeah, it would have looked different. But Intel, I don't know. That signing of that contract for Kuz, that's a classic case of signing that big fat contract and then not realizing and not remembering why you signed that big fat contract. It's just, his career has just gone ever since. Now, hopefully he'll be at a better level this year in Milwaukee. But Joe, good to have you here, my friend. Monday, again, I said live. I was viewing live the dab scene around the world, and Intel Wild, I'll get you here on a second on your next super chat. Your thoughts, my friend, on the dab scene around social media? What do you make of it? And do you think everything is all right now? I have a feeling I don't think you're totally convinced.
Who's not convinced?
That, it's all as good now because, everything looks so friendly on Monday when they were giving that hug or half hug, the dab, and everybody's laughing, having a good time. So, sorry, 805, that was your super chat.
You're talking about Rob, LeBron, and who else?
Well, you did. He glad-handed JJ. He came in. Just again, it was just looking just basically the Rob and LeBron interaction. They seem to be all pleasant with each other. But as you know, that's just for public consumption. There could always be something going on behind the scenes.
Well, consumption can be there all at once. 2 of the 3 there will likely not be around in a few years. And the third one is the jury's still out on that one. So there's a very good possibility that all 3 won't be around to consume anyways. My instincts say it's very likely that all 3 will not be around in the next 2 to 3 years. So I wouldn't worry too much about that little interaction. When you have new ownership wants their guys to come in. Rob is just not going to be here and in the capacity that he's in at some point in the near future. LeBron is likely going to spend his last year in LA unless he really gets a good deal to go somewhere, but I don't know necessarily if I see that. JJ Redick, my instincts tell me that his temperament might not be correct for the LA trade, but we'll see. But I have no worry at all, not even a little bit. Superman is coming, and that is the Guggenheims, and this thing will be controlled in the way it's supposed to, and it'll make everybody happy. And the only thing I could tell everyone is sit back and enjoy the ride.
But when will that ride come? Will that come at the cost of the season, Joe?
No, they'll compete, but you're not going to be realistic if you think that they're this. You just lambasted the Lakers for the last 3 years, 4 years. Well, what makes you think that's going to change this year or next year? It's not. Rob Pelinka is not a player personnel guy. LeBron James is a year away from should be retirement, really. And JJ Redick is only a year into his coaching, and Laker coaches usually last an average of 4 years? Last decade and a half, I think it's been like 2 years. So the statistics say that none of these guys are going to be around anyways, and I think you guys are all wasting your time thinking about it. Who will be here? Luka Doncic. Who will be running things? Mark Walter and the Guggenheims, with Jeannie Buss being the cheerleader. Those are facts. It might not be official. It might not be official for Luka, but he's not going anywhere. There's no evidence of him going anywhere.
So you're taking no stock in the Jeannie Buss for 5 years reports?
No.
As governor.
In terms of decision making? No.
Oh, I mean,
if she wants to be the governor, whatever the hell that stupid thing means, what term? Sure, she can sit there and play Little House on the Prairie in the offices, but you're gonna have to really get me really drunk to the point of death and tell me a story that I'm gonna believe that someone's gonna pay.
Don't give Intel any ideas, please.
10 to 12. I'm not drinking tonight anyways, no matter what happens. 10 to 12 billion dollars doesn't get spent so that they can have Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis and LeBron prancing around El Segundo.
Well, they're going to be prancing around at the start of the season.
I want everyone to understand this. I want everyone to understand this. The Guggenheims are a very, very classy business. Very classy in terms of how they've run their businesses. And I don't know who they are personally. I don't know what goes on there. I don't hear anything bad about them though. But the people who run the Dodgers, the same guys, they're very family oriented. They're very about doing the right thing as best as they can. They're constantly giving back to the community, whether it was for the fires, whether it's for stuff going on with ICE. They're very, very, very connected and very, very. They're not ever tone deaf on what's going on around them. So the evidence has shown for a long time now that these guys know what they're doing. They know how to do it, and they're not going to spend $10 to $12 billion to sit around on their thumbs. It's just not going to happen. Whatever happens this year is going to be what it is, because you're really stuck with what the salary structures are on your roster. You can bring in a couple people here and there, hope that there's some buyouts of some good talent, which that usually never works. But they're going to go after it, and they could get lucky. They could have everyone in the West have their main guy get injured during the run, and the Lakers get to the finals that way. That could happen because that's what's been happening the last few years in the NBA. Number one options drop them like flies. Tatum, Halliburton, even though he's not really a number one, Dame, he was a number 1 or a 1A. These guys are not lasting. So they could get through, especially if Luka wins MVP. If Luka is an MVP this year, if he's playing MVP Luka, that's going to be a huge jump. Less work
But you
for
need
LeBron.
a team to build around him. He can't do it all by
You're
himself.
not building a team around
41-year-old.
Luka with some asshole next to him making $52 million. How are you going to build him? And then you keep yapping about Reeves. Like, you're not going to pay that guy $30 million.
They have 5 expiring contracts, Joe. They can move to get players in here that could be better fit around Luka. Now,
who?
I mentioned already a few, but it doesn't matter at this point because they haven't done it and they won't do it, Joe. I believe
You're talking
that
about the guys in New Orleans?
Talk about the guys in New Orleans and guys all over the league. Again, it's talent evaluation, Joe. It's obvious and clear where the Lakers' plans are at. They obviously are waiting till a later year to truly be next level competitive. Now, Xbox, again, props to him. He thinks the Lakers can compete for a title right now. And on the fringe, they could. But again, they still have a lot of the same problems they did last year at this time. They still have one of the weakest benches in the NBA. They still have deficiencies along the way. And you know this, Joe. And I'm not going to try and tell you anything new on that, but it's just the fact that they haven't addressed it. The fact that they haven't addressed it tells me they're not going to make an effort to compete at a championship level. It's just going to be good. Even if he has an MVP-like season, it's going to be pretty good. But again, in a playoff setting, you need players to go with you to go to war with, and the Lakers just don't have that right now. Whether or not you think it's bad to have the $53 million on the plate with LeBron or not, it just, again, LeBron will probably be the same level of fatigued if he plays out 70 games. 41-year-old guy, and the fact that they have no bench, it's going to be the same scenario all over again, the way it's heading right now.
So the retort to that is, why continue to worry about something that's not likely going to happen?
Because I would like them to win now. You
they're
are always
they're
that
not
way,
going
Joe.
to win the way you want this year. There's not enough talent evaluators, talent bringers. There's not enough talent on the team to combat the lack of depth.
No, I haven't forgotten anything, Steve. Even at an MVP level, he still has the same team essentially around him. They do have an upgraded center, though, for what they had with Jackson Hayes. I'll give you that. But you see, like the Clippers today, they just got handed themselves a starting shooting guard. Now, whether this is not going to be the Bradley Beal in Washington, Joe, I'll give you that. But if he comes in there, shoots 40% from 3, averages 17 points on this team, they're a much more well-rounded team going into a playoff setting than the Lakers are. They're much more prepared for the postseason than the Lakers are at this point. No, I wouldn't put them past Denver or Houston or certainly OKC, but they do make themselves more competitive with the signing of Beal.
They have nothing to trade to get depth. And you're not getting better players for Austin and Rui. I think I've said this maybe 15 times. I want to know
with you on that.
I want to know who they're going to get that's going to add depth to this team. Who are they going to?
We talked about trades with the Knicks before. We talked about trades with Orlando before. We talked about trades with New Orleans, Portland. Talked about trades with teams all over the NBA.
And they're all going to want draft picks. Or do the Lakers have enough draft picks? Swaps are not going to really mean much, especially for what's coming. So what exactly do you want the other team to give the Lakers that's going to be an even trade? And even if it's even, how does that make the Lakers better? The only way you trade Austin or Rui is for a better player, which means you need to send out other assets, things that maybe they need to build on, like draft picks. Who's a player out there or players out there that you can trade those guys? If you're worried about Reeves not signing an extension at the number you want, who are you going to get now for him that would be better than him, that would be a legitimate starter, or it would be somebody that would be valuable off the bench and understand that role? That's the questions you want to ask. And it's looking like the NBA, which is the kind of the surprise for me this summer. You're looking at teams like Minnesota. You look at New Orleans. They just signed Herb Jones. Minnesota signed every free agent that except they didn't sign
Except for
Walker, but they signed the three guys. They signed three guys, and I'm like, small market team over the cap, just got a new owner. Wow, okay. I guess maybe something's coming. And what I mean by that is, I guess maybe the TV contracts, even though there's a cap every year on the salary caps, I guess they're getting this maybe starting to make sense a little bit. Maybe it's starting to make sense on why the small market teams are signing their players and going after these wins and not worrying about aprons or going over the luxury tax. Maybe because the reason why maybe they signed this deal so quick, even though it's a shitty one, maybe it's because they're getting that much money. There's no other way there's no other place where it makes sense. So now we're talking, how are you going to improve this team? Okay, are you going to send out Gabe Vincent and Kleber, which is $22 million, and maybe throw in either Rui or Reeves in that and go get a star for that number? Can you get a third guy in there with that and then add a first-round pick? That's probably what they've been trying to do to compete for this year. But who's going to do that? Who was the guy that we talked about that has an expiring contract that would probably work out?
I forget. We've talked about so many. I mean, Orlando, you talked about, Jonathan Isaac. You talked about him. And talked about the fact, that you could get big guys to support you there. But obviously with the Aiden acquisition kind of puts things a little bit off there. I talked about it one time that, going after McBride and Robinson and doing that there. If LeBron wants to be traded, we talked about OG, possibility. If LeBron does want to be traded to somewhere, you could try to pitch him on the Knicks. But if you don't, and you just want to trade bodies, we're talking about for Reeves, he could go in a trade for, like I said, McBride and Robinson and some other pieces like that. But again, these were things we all brought up over the past few weeks and months here on the show. Again, I don't want to beat it to the dead horse because it looks like that the Lakers are not intending to go all out this season. Again, Gregory, Steve, they said that other teams have passed them by. Other teams have started to prepare because they see what is clear. OKC, good team, very good team. And they've got so many ways which they can build going forward before their cap goes kablooey because of the extensions they've just signed. They still got, I believe, this season and next season before it really goes haywire. They have so many ways they could build, so many draft choices they can build. They're set up for the rest of the decade for being a championship level competing team. I get that, but they still have flaws. If you saw that, Denver exploited them in several situations and almost got away with a series win. Indiana took them to 7 games, almost got away with a series win. I believe that now is the time you got to go ahead and make every opportunity, especially with a prime Luka, last. And it's disappointing, Joe, because it does not look like Rob looks like Rob did not look like a man on Monday. Even when he was dabbing with LeBron, he was glad-handing with so many people there on the sidelines that I saw. He didn't look like a guy that was scared about his job. He didn't look like a guy that, had really a very intense, motivation to go all in this year. And it doesn't look like it. It looks like the Lakers are going half in and keeping their eye on later years when they have more cap space.
Well, going all in is only going to make sense if you're actually in part of this, and they're not. Rob Pelinka will not be a part of this when it really matters. LeBron will be gone by then. And if you want to look at it as wasting a couple of years of Luka's years, yeah, there's some truth to that. But Luka's 26. So if I sat you down and you're Luka Doncic,
tell me you're going to punt a year.
So, well, let's look at. I'll give you an example. So, you look at somebody like Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani went to the Angels,
Mhm.
uh, and this is alleged. This is speculation, but it was always this thought that he went to Anaheim because eventually he knew he'd go to the Dodgers. What he was waiting on was circumstances to get put together a certain way, maybe checking out how long this run that the Dodgers are going to have will continue, because you have to look at it from when he got to Anaheim. He got to Anaheim in 2018. The Dodgers had just lost their second World Series. Well, they had just lost the World Series the year before. They hadn't played yet in that one in 2018. And the Guggenheims had run that thing about 5 years. It wasn't, 10 years later. So he got a chance to play the DH role, which was really the main reason, and be able to pitch. He didn't want to put too much gas on having to play on the outfield or whatever, right? Went to Anaheim and played that out. And then once the DH was implemented in the NL, saw how the Dodgers were operated, and the rest is history. So Luka might not be getting that same speech or that same path, but it's similar in that Luka and his representatives know that the next regime is going to put him in the best possible position, not only to win, but for marketing, for future business, everything. You just
I
got to
never
wait.
doubted that, and I'm not doubting that. I'm telling you, in order to do so, we have to wait for this magical day to come and basically punt a season unless
You're
Luca
not
can
punting.
pull off a miracle and do something.
You're
You're not punting.
awesome.
We could
They're not
win.
punting?
We could win this year, but everything has to go right.
Because you didn't fix the problems that hurt you last year outside
You're
of the
awesome.
I mean, well, that was a big one. If DeAndre Ayton played in that Minnesota series, I feel very comfortable that the Lakers would have won that series. Where they would have lost was maybe to Denver.
You're awesome.
But then maybe not. Denver was pretty much dead man walking other than Jokic. So let's say, because I felt pretty damn comfortable.
You're awesome.
Pretty damn comfortable against Oklahoma City. But had Denver had...
Well, they almost won 2 in a row. Rodell has to, Rodell put his 2 cents in there. So
you're
late
awesome.
in the season, the Lakers were in Oklahoma City. So I do want to clarify. They did win the first game. Second game, they were leading. Should have won that game. For all intents and purposes, they won the game. But Luka got ejected.
Yay!
But should have won that game. Let's just put it down there. They should have won 2 in a row for all intents and purposes. So I don't want to get Rodell to at me again. So, but to be technical, yes, they should have won 2 in a row. For all intents and purposes, you call it 2 in a row, but it wasn't. But yes, I understand that they matched up very well, I believe, with OKC, Joe. Again, you and I both know it's about the playoffs are about matchups. And do you match up better against the team you're facing, Joe?
Let's talk about that. If you have DeAndre Ayton,
who has his mind right?
Well, I believe he will have his mind right.
He better. I mean, a lot of money is on the line. So
right. So his mind's going to be right, and his motivation is going to be, I want to get what Miles Turner got. I'm a better player than Miles Turner, and I do actually believe that when he's focused, he's better than Miles Turner, in my view. Now, if they had Ayton with the same team that they have now, with just Ayton, I strongly believe they beat Minnesota. Then they would have faced the Warriors. No doubt about beating the Warriors. And then they would have faced Oklahoma City. So they would have probably avoided Denver. But I do think they probably had a good shot at beating Denver too, because Denver was pretty much walking on nothing towards the end, except for Jokic. So you play Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals. And now it's, I guess, based off what we saw in the regular season, could have been a good matchup. But I can't say if they would have beaten Oklahoma City. Maybe Oklahoma City comes through and beats them in 6. I don't know. But in terms of the difference between now and then, well, I feel very comfortable that if DeAndre Ayton had been on the team, I think they would have at least made it to the Western Conference Finals based off how the playoff bracket came about.
JY says, are we taking the Clippers starting 5 in the squad series?
There's nothing the Clippers can do.
Okay.
Nothing they will ever do where I will look at them and go, uh-oh.
I'm not saying that they're at the level of Denver, Houston, and Oklahoma City, but they do make a claim. Remember, they won 50 games last year. As much as we hate to say it, just as many as the Lakers did.
Means nothing.
But they're starting 5, even though they're older, on a per average basis. If Beal plays, because Beal will be playing for a new contract. Yes, I understand he's getting all that side money because he's been waived and stretched, but I believe he is going to be playing for his future, just like Ayton is. And if he gets 15 to 17 and shoots 40% from them, essentially that's what they need with that lineup to replace what they lost and sending Norman Powell to Miami. I still would put them in that 4 to 6 range with the Lakers and Minnesota, and then maybe now you could say Dallas and San Antonio in that mix. But
the Clippers can win 82 games next year, and they'll still fail
because it's the Clippers. I'm not talking about it
until they do something. Then come talk to me. I couldn't give 2 shits about that franchise, and they will do nothing until they prove so. Now, I think other than maybe Denver and to some degree Houston, and I say some degree with Houston, we're looking at the Houston roster with 2015 eyes because there's Durant's there. Oh, Durant. Oh, just look at what the Rockets did with the 2nd seed, right? And they didn't have Durant. Well, just so you guys know, when you have someone that dominant in terms of the attention, how is that going to now connect with the guys around them? The guys around them, the young guys who are playing for their first big contract, guys like Amin Thompson and those guys, right? How are they going to reel in their game? Now, Amin Thompson's like a defensive type specialist guy, which is good. Usually defensive type guys take that primary.
Smith got his extension.
Yeah. So are these guys going to scale back their game to accommodate Durant? If they do that, if Udoka can convince them to do that, then they're going to be a problem. But it's still a young team. And Durant, guys like Durant and LeBron do not get better the older they get. And Durant, we haven't really been able to get a chance to see who he really is when it matters. He has sabotaged his career since he's left Golden State to the point where, other than that toe 2-point shot, he's been irrelevant since that series against Milwaukee. That's all they've talked about for the last, 4 years, 5 years? Oh, if his toe hadn't touched the line. That's Durant's legacy right now, the last 5 years, the last 5 seasons. Oh, if he had not stepped on the line. So Durant's going to have to show people that he can bring a younger team in his twilight years to a championship. So he's got a lot to prove, and there's a lot of pressure. Pressure changes everything. And Durant hasn't been too good with pressure. Burner accounts, whining, crying about everything. He may have won in 17 and 18, but when you have the defensive player of the year and the 2 greatest shooters of all time, and you're the 3rd, it's a little less pressure, and no one can argue against that.
But there's a lot of youth on that team. There's a lot of defense on that team.
And the youth is going to have to accept their roles. Youth sometimes doesn't do it. You want a history lesson in this?
Let me
go watch the 1996 LA Lakers when Magic came back.
But let me finish it by saying the youth paid off for OKC, and they were able to win a championship this year. But one of the major things that
Well, that's
OKC
because
and
the
Houston
youth,
have as far as
youth was played together. They developed together.
okay.
Durant's a mercenary now, mercenary that came to the team.
Well, that mercenary does one thing that they desperately need in Houston, and that is help with their half court offense in pressure situations. And if Durant can give them that, then that's exactly what they need to be more competitive. Because that's why he's being brought in, because they have a deficiency. And that's what, Kevin Durant in a half court setting, being one of the greatest big man shooters of all time and scorers of all time for a guy his height, that's one thing you and I both know. Even at this advanced age, he can still do, as he's proven with Phoenix. Doesn't always lead to a winning situation, but the guy can still flat out score in the half court. And going down the stretch for them in Houston, they had issues. Who do they give the ball to in pressure situations? They now have a Hall of Famer that's supposed to, like in theory, Joe, LeBron in past years, they're taking the ball to. Now, obviously, we saw that. That doesn't always equate to actual success with LeBron's ratio of, clutch situation shooting and all that. But again, in theory, the Kevin Durant acquisition should help that Houston team immensely.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to see
Durant. You have to see it on the court.
I'm gonna have to see Durant for the first time since 2021 play for something. 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. Durant has played for nothing. It's easy to play easy when you're not really playing for anything. So what's going to happen now if this thing becomes a competitive race? How's his body going to react to the pressure of that this late in the stage of his career? And how are these young guys going to adapt when Durant gets double teamed in the half court? How are they going to react to that? Those are the things that you're going to want to pay attention to, especially towards the end. Because you had a team in Oklahoma City that has great leadership, good coaching, not great, good coaching, players that understand their roles, good defenders on the team, that definitely one really good scorer, really. I mean, Williams is okay, but really it's SGA. Those guys won 68 games, and they almost got bounced twice on that in their path to win against teams that were ridiculously injury plagued. Now, I'm not, again, it's not to discredit Oklahoma City. It's to give in to facts that there isn't really a dominant team, no matter how well they're constructed. No matter how much you want to believe Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant, he's really not. He really hasn't been. And now that he's going to have the pressure to win, how is he going to react this late in the game? That's what you want to pay attention to. Now, Denver made a really good trade in that they got rid of Michael Porter Jr. because he was too hot and cold. They needed somebody more consistent. So by trading him for what they got, that was probably the best transaction. That wasn't a headline transaction for them. But they still need Jamal Murray to be healthy, and he hasn't really been healthy the last few years. He needs to get healthy. He needs to be a legit number 2 on that team. Aaron Gordon, again, fills in the gaps. That's just pretty much what he is. But Jamal Murray is going to need to be a legit number 2 on that team for them to go and see if they can get another title.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Sorrell along with me, Gerald Glassford. Appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Don't forget, I'll have on playback tomorrow for the game on playback, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. I'm going to probably be there for the first half at Thomas and Mack, but I will be back around 8:30 for the post game. So hopefully you will join us for that. Of course, the Lakers play in summer league action tomorrow. It'll probably be their last time. I don't think even if they win tomorrow, they probably will get to the playoffs. They may, because I know there's certain tiebreakers that they could qualify for, but most likely it will not be the case, and it's probably the last time you'll see the Lakers this summer. But again, go ahead and check them out. And before we get to the summer league highs and lows, looking at that, I wanted to go ahead and talk about something Thameless has been asking us in the chat to go ahead. Please make sure you go ahead and answer my comment. Please, please, please. Okay, Thameless, for you, my friend, it was regarding LeBron James. So, by the way, the chat, whether you hate LeBron, love LeBron, all over the place on LeBron, hate my comments, love my comments, I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been really active tonight. Much appreciated. Really like to see the banter back and forth. Just be respectful to each other. No, people can think differently, and we can still just try and enjoy the stuff that's here at the Lakers Fast Break. But again, I truly want to thank you for it. But Joe, back to LeBron, dabbing it up with his good buddy Rob Pelinka on Monday. Okay, maybe I'm being a little facetious when I say that. Is this the last year in a Lakers uniform for LeBron? And I'm leaving that open because I think this is the last year for LeBron, but I'm not convinced this is the last year of him in the NBA.
My first reaction is I don't care. I don't know why he would want to continue. For what? Well, what
Ring
else?
chasing.
Where?
Maybe to play with Bryce. It won't be our problem, though.
I'm gonna tell you this: the moment LeBron James is done with the Lakers, I don't even acknowledge that he exists anymore.
Okay.
LeBron James is the equivalent of. He'll be the equivalent, and I've never had this happen to me, but I've had friends that have had this recently, especially recently.
Here we go.
Is the obnoxious divorced wife.
That's kind of mild.
He's the Elizabeth Taylor of the NBA.
Oh, here we go.
How many times did she get married? 7 times?
I think it's 7, yeah.
So in the end, people will tell you who they are without you even trying. It's a beautiful thing if you're able to recognize it, especially before it's done. And you can, I've had a few people tell me off air, where were you guys before LeBron came? Like as if he was Jesus that came to LA, like the Lakers hadn't done shit. I said, that's a question you need to ask the Cleveland Cavalier fan, not the LA Laker fan. If LeBron James doesn't come to LA, this team still has 16 championships. It still has legends that you can start every single position in the NBA on an all-time team with all Lakers. And the Lakers have always found a way to get stars. So whether it was LeBron James or not, they would have eventually gotten somebody. What would have probably happened, and this is something I actually thought about the other day, is maybe this sale would have happened earlier if LeBron wasn't here. Because Jeannie then would have been stuck, right? So I'm just throwing that out there. I don't have any evidence of that. But he's an exhausting human being. Absolutely exhausting. And I don't even know him. I don't even know this guy. And he's exhausting. Imagine how bad he would be dealing with him. And for what? What's the return? Shaq was an obnoxious dickhead too. But Shaq
still found ways to be lovable to an audience.
Shaq just, when you look at even before he started winning the titles in 2000, it wasn't draining. Wasn't like petty garbage like high school. I mean, I guess you could say he was immature too, but it never felt like it was this the passive aggressive stuff. See, that's the thing with Shaq is he's not really passive. He's not a passive aggressive guy. He tells you to your face, so it's a little bit more tolerable, at least for me.
Mhm.
Even when he was being a jackass, at least it was up in your face. So, and then again, it ended up with when you win 3 championships in a row, your whole idea of somebody will shift. Even though they should have won more. But so maybe if LeBron had won 3 in a row, maybe I wouldn't give a damn. But maybe he didn't do enough. And maybe that's part of it too. And maybe because he did play a hand in the deconstruction of what we all thought was a continuous title contender in 2022. It's always been that way. It's always been that way with this guy, whether he was in Miami, whether he was in Cleveland the first time, whether he was in Cleveland. I didn't really hear much with the second stint. I think the only thing I heard about the second stint was Dan Gilbert was just ready to have LeBron leave. I remember reports saying he was tired of dealing with LeBron. And that's how I feel. And that pisses me off even more that I got to compare myself to Dan Gilbert, that we thought the same thing, because I'm not a big fan of him either. But he is a draining human being. And winning right now is almost, it's not secondary, but it's almost like, God, just get through this year however you can so we can get on with our life. So the divorced wife can get out of here so I can go live a normal life. Out of the house, not having to worry about seeing her, not having to worry about hearing her, complaining. All that stuff is gone when he's gone. And I don't see Luka being that guy, and I don't see anybody else. I just think it's comical that people are sitting there talking about DeAndre Ayton being a pain in the ass. I'm like, have you guys not, it's not affected you that LeBron has been a pain in everybody's ass in the last 4 years? So I'm just tired of talking about LeBron James outside the court. Everything about that asshole is about outside shit, and I'm sick of it. If he was paying dividends on the court, I'd deal with it, but he's not. He's 2-12 the last 3 playoff series and then after that I got to deal with him complaining about competing. Asshole, why don't you don't sign into your $52 million contract. Take the minimum or go somewhere else. Like, it's just, this is what happens when you enable these guys. And Pat Riley didn't enable LeBron when he was in Miami. He's like, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'll figure it out. And he hasn't won shit since LeBron's left too. Like, that's how bad it is. If you really want to put a measuring stick on this guy, Pat Riley has not won a championship in 13 seasons. And he would have won more if LeBron had stayed. Miami would have won at least 1 or 2 more if he had stayed. But that's how bad it was. He didn't accommodate LeBron even for championships. And maybe it's easy for Pat Riley not to, because how many championships does Pat Riley have? He's got 3 in Miami. He's got 4 as a coach, 5 as an assistant, and then 1. Yeah, I mean, Pat Riley has 9 championships, so I think maybe he didn't give a shit as much. But yeah, that's where I am. And the word woke and hate need to start going away from our vocabulary. I'm sick and tired of those 2 stupid ass words. It's not about hate. It's more about irritation. It's about focus.
Well, some of the comments, Frank said, are you blaming LeBron?
For what?
I guess the Lakers not being able to grab another title since 2020. I don't think he's the entirety of the blame. No, it's a team.
No. I don't blame LeBron on all of it. I blame more LeBron of the atmosphere around the team, the distraction that he creates.
Uh-huh.
If you're an a-hole like Kobe Bryant and and guys that want to win, like I'll deal with that. If you're threatening to get traded or you want to get traded because you want to win, there's some understanding there. You want to win so bad, but they're not making it happen. Hey, I want out of here if you're not going to win. I sort of understand that. But my issues with LeBron, and it keeps getting worse every offseason, is there's always this nonsense of hey, LeBron wants this and LeBron wants that, and then you got that dipshit agent of his yapping around doing whatever the hell he is doing. It's an orchestrated PR stunt. We're not stupid. Why would you do that? It's not about the new, and you can blame it on the new ownership coming in, or Luka came, or whatever. But he's been doing this shit even before all that. So really, we can't blame it on that either. It's always his MO. And for me, I don't connect with that. I've never connected with LeBron, though. Really, he's not a personality that I'd probably be. He's a funny guy. Like, he's got a really good sense of humor. He is, from the outside, a family man, so I can relate to that. But LeBron James, if I was friends with LeBron James, I don't think I'd be friends with him long, because I would tell him who he is when he screws up. And I don't know necessarily if he's one of those guys that can handle that. I don't know if he's one of those guys that can handle constructive criticism.
I want to say this, though, again, that sets us up for this team this year. And again, I just wish they could have done more. I wish Rob would have done more to build around Luka and LeBron. He does have ways that he could have helped improve this team. And unless something changes, it looks like apparently this is the team, for all intents and purposes, is what we're going to war with. Which, again, DeAndre Ayton, low risk, high upside. Jake LaRavia comes in, might be able to go ahead and replace efficiently what DFS does. If not, it's a cheap contract. You can get rid of it next summer. It's not a big deal. But the efficiencies outside of an upgrade at center are still there, Joe. So I foresee maybe a similar route to what they did this year. 45 to 50 wins. But in the playoffs, again, if LeBron has had to go ahead and hustle for 70-plus games, again, or right around 70 games this upcoming season, that's a 41-year-old man you're asking then to play extended minutes in the playoffs with no bench behind you. The bench is a seriously deficient thing that you have right now as far as the quality of players that you have backing these guys up. This summer, what we've seen is one really good game from Bronny James, and then the rest has been a lot of hit and miss. Dalton Connect has had one quarter where he's looked like Dalton Connect, and the rest has been absolutely abysmal. When your best player in summer league is Cole Swider, that's a problem, Joe. That's a problem, because I don't see any fixes or any attempt to be made to fix something that is really, really something you need over the course of a long season so that you are fresher when the playoffs begin. So Luka and LeBron are fresher going into battle in the playoffs. That's my point, is if you have such a bad depth area and you have so many needs that you have along the wing, that you don't have enough defense there, seemingly. Again, your bench is just absolutely not going to give you anything again this year, it looks like. It's really concerning to me that the Lakers, even with an MVP year-like season from Luka Doncic, and let's say LeBron turns the clock back again, it has another third team All-NBA-like season. It'd be disappointing if that same thing happens again in the playoffs.
Well, we may need to factor in that maybe there's thoughts of maybe the Lakers play this year in hoping that maybe by the deadline there's something that could come into fruition. there could be a demand by a player that
If
might
they're
want
close,
to come.
Joe, they may just do that. If they're close, if they think they have a chance at the trade deadline, they could do something. I'll give you that.
No, Jordan, I'm not blaming the. Hold on, my friend Jordan's saying it's easier to blame Braun and not the media because you literally never hear Braun. Jordan, I already talked to you today, and you were wrong half the time, which is pretty much most of the time. At what point, if somebody is saying something that you're doing, at what point are you going to keep sitting back and letting it happen before you say, I didn't say that? Stop talking like that. Listen to me. Be your
Okay.
own voice. Take the interview. I don't know who he's shooed away people, right? He's shooed away the McMenamins and the Wind Horses and the Ramona Shelburns and all that, but they keep talking about him. And then you have Rich Paul talking for you. Okay, what about what Rich Paul said? What, you guys don't talk? Why is he saying what he's saying? And that's that. I'm done talking about LeBron James and his passive aggressive crap. I don't want to
I'll
be here all
just
night doing that.
I'll just say, Jordan. Let me
the
just say
Lakers,
this.
the
Well, let me just
Lakers
say this,
are.
Joe.
Go ahead.
Let me just say this real quick, Joe. Remember, I was a defender of LeBron for quite some time when you first came on the show, and we would go back and forth on it. But remember the scenario where he put in the hourglass, that tweet he put in the hourglass? Remember the social media outcry on that? Remember when he went to the Knicks game dressed in Knicks colors? Remember after the game when he was raped over after the game in the interview with the Knick towel? That's what did it for me, Jordan. That's what did it for me. I cannot defend the passive aggressiveness of LeBron because it gets so tiring. I think he's one of the greatest players of all time. He is up there for me as far as one of the greatest players of all time. But it's just so hard to defend LeBron when he keeps on doing these passive aggressive things. Now, having the Rich Paul speak for you, it's very true, though. The Lakers are on two different timelines. They are trying to keep one eye here and one eye on 2026 and 27. It is very abundant and very clear that they are doing so. But these continued social media and the white noise that always seems to emanate around those, his statements that he makes or the social media tweets that he has, it's not the press doing that, Joe. It's LeBron James. And it's so hard to defend.
I'm not gonna. I really would like to not talk about LeBron James anymore. Really, I that would be my platinum winning, gold winning scenario for me. Why I felt good about the Lakers the last 6 months is they did two things that I was hoping for before they happened. Number one, we were hoping, and this is on record, you all heard me, and a lot of you guys confirmed it when it happened. You guys a lot of you guys that are the regulars, you paid attention. Because and some of you came out with some details. I was like, shit, I didn't even remember I said that. Cool. I'm glad you guys were paying attention. Number one, I don't know how the hell they did it, but they did it. They were able to turn a downside player, which AD is, as much as I like AD, I'm sorry it is true. It's just going to keep going down to in my view, a potential multi-MVP winning superstar in Luka Doncic. You got that. And then 5 months later, the best ownership in sports makes it official that they're taking over the Lakers. So I am not thinking it's a lot to get in 6 months. These are major franchise shifting decisions and execution that happen. Huge. So for me to sit back and worry about whether we're going to get somebody that can go and come off the bench or whether I'm going to worry about Austin Reeves. I like Austin Reeves. I have nothing against Austin Reeves. I think he's great in terms of where he's gone from where he came from. But I'm not going to worry about paying a good player a lot of money when anyone who pays a good player top salary, max contracts, never win. It's the comparison to the Kirk Cousins and the Dak Prescotts. You're paying Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins, at least soon. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be not, but you're paying good quarterbacks Patrick Mahomes money. That is a that is a destroyer of winning if you ever see one. Same thing in basketball. You don't spend mega max money on good players. You spend that mega max money on stars. And then you'll pay the guys maybe a little bit under that to form the team. So, excuse me if I'm still in the euphoria of the fact that my favorite team somehow pulled not one, but two rabbits out of a hat in a 6-month span that's going to change the entire focus for all Laker fans into thinking like how the Dodger fan thinks. Dodger fans are so damn spoiled. They don't think about ownership. They don't think about the stars being disgruntled. They don't think about any of that. The only time they've been really mad is maybe Dave Roberts, or they're mad that they didn't win, a certain playoff series. But baseball's funny like that. It's not the same sport like it is in basketball. But what you're gonna get here in the next year or two is you're going to get a leadership crew that are gonna bring in the correct people to run things. No more Ron Pelinkas, no more Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis and all these fucking people who do nothing for you, who are just there because they're a support system or they know somebody. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when you start hearing names like Conley, even Presti. Don't let that be out of your mind. I don't have any knowledge of it, but you guys tell me something. You're one of the best ownerships in sports, if not the best. And you can tap into approximately $300 billion at any time. You're telling me that if Mark Walter gives Sam Presti a call, first he'll call Oklahoma City, obviously, and say, "Can we speak to your guy?" And of course, Oklahoma City says, "Sure, go ahead." They go over there to Oklahoma and they go sit with Mr. and Mrs. Presti and say, "Look, this is what we have for you, Sam. I think it's time for you to come play with the big boys. You've earned it. You brought this team a title. Maybe by then they brought them a couple titles. We're going to give you $15 million a year, and you'll be able to tap into the Guggenheim money for any future investments that you want." You're telling me that he's not going to consider that? How do you think they got Andrew Friedman? They had Ned Colletti. Dodgers had Ned Colletti. Ned Colletti was a damn good GM. He's not even Pelinka. Like, Pelinka's, what is he? C minus, D plus at best. Dodgers got rid of a really good GM for a better one. So if you think that they're not going to replace Rob Pelinka, then you probably don't know much about the Guggenheims, but they will. And even if it wasn't the Guggenheims, new ownership is going to want their own people. I would be shocked if even J.J. Riddick stays. I think they're going to want to get their own coach.
Uh-huh.
So for me to sit here, Gerald, we got to win and we got to do this and we got to do that. And then I'm sitting there going, well, how the hell is this going to happen? With what? Who's going to take Kleber? Who's going to take Gabe Vincent? They're going to ask for your internal organs for those guys to get rid of those guys. So somebody is going to have to demand a trade by the deadline or some miracle buyout that's going to help a second time. Because in my view, this DeAndre Ayton is the greatest buyout return I've seen as a Laker fan on paper. Who have the Lakers ever gotten in a buyout that made a difference? I don't remember anybody.
Again, I'm not disputing that it is a low risk.
But you guys gotta
high
get
reward.
realistic here. You're not being realistic, and I know that by you commenting the way you are, you got more material to talk about instead of just, all right, well, Gerald, this is what's going to happen, so I just deal with it. But that's really what it is in my view. My view is I have zero worry right now. If they compete, they're going to compete. If they do nothing, they're still going to compete. And there's still a small chance that they could do something because of the landscape of the NBA, the injury-plagued NBA, the way teams play. There's a chance that if by some miracle LeBron somehow doesn't get injured throughout the year, Luka has an MVP season, and DeAndre Ayton looks like 2021 DeAndre Ayton, which he's still 26. Why wouldn't he? Austin Reeves is going to be playing his ass off, right, to go get that $30-40 million. So they're still going to compete, and they probably still have a chance at adding some players here. But you cannot compromise and go get stupid players when you've got leadership coming in that's already got a plan probably getting ready to go. A plan that's going to be for the longevity, for the next 10 years. Something where we're going to maybe see 20th title, not just 18, not just 19. We're talking, I want to see the Lakers in the next 10 years, to be honest with you. I want to see them get to 20. Then it's only going to be the Canadians, the Yankees, and the Lakers that have 20. It's a nice number.
So you're saying that even though within 2 years, most likely Boston will have reloaded around Jason Tatum if he comes back to full health. Also, as well, OKC with a myriad of assets and a treasure trove of assets going forward can still replace all their needs, even if they get very expensive, which they will next 2 years. The Lakers with Mark Walter, who again, impressive resume. It's an impressive outcome with the Dodgers. No one is disputing that. That an 18th, 19th, and 20th would be title would be on the way shortly thereafter.
Yeah, and remember, guys, Luka Doncic does not use extreme, aggressive, intensive athleticism. If Chris Paul, whose knee was apparently in shambles in 2013, hell, I even heard it even before he was a Laker. This guy's still playing. Not as great as he used to, but Luka, in my view, if he continues to look the way he's looked here this summer for the next decade, he will be a force for the next decade. He is not a high flyer. He is a calculated assassin. Doesn't kill his body too much with athleticism. So Luka Doncic is going to be, in my assessment, at the very least, in his prime for the next 7 to 8 years. That's a good timeline. And the Lakers' future is changed. It is completely changed because the preparation and the assets and the resources that they're going to have after October, when this sale is officially done, is going to be night and day than what the Laker fans have been used to seeing. Because there is no salary cap behind the floor. They can hire the best coaches. They can hire the best executives. They can hire the best scouts. They can hire the best analytical people, best trainers of health, nutrition. There is nothing, no expense that can't be done with this ownership. And there's no salary cap for those guys. They will build this into a juggernaut. And they have a superstar already here. You're telling me, Gerald, that in 2027, that someone's not going to want to come to LA, even if it's not a free agent. Someone is coming to LA. It doesn't. I don't know. We don't know. Basing it off of Jokic and Giannis re-signing with their teams. Let's say everybody resigns. There's going to be someone that's going to demand a trade to LA by then. They're going to want to play with this ownership. They're going to want that max contract in LA with those resources and a chance to win. This is the LA Lakers. This isn't the Minnesota Timberwolves. So one way or the other. And
So you're just saying wait until 2027.
I'm not
Until
saying
then,
wait, but the reality of this setting up the right way, the correct way, is to get ready for that. Why you think Golden State wasn't preparing for 2016 and 2014? There was talk about them. Hey, I remember it vividly because Steph Curry's contract, because of his ankle. For those of you who don't remember, Steph Curry's first extension was a minimal one because his ankles were so broke, they didn't know. He almost got traded to Minnesota. Was it Minnesota or Milwaukee? No, Milwaukee. It was between him and Ellis. I forgot his first name.
what was your
Monte
question,
Ellis.
Dwight?
I'm sorry, Monte Ellis. There was talk, Monte Ellis or Steph Curry. Who's going to get traded for Bogut? Right? I don't know if you guys remember that, but that's what was going on because Steph Curry's ankles were like as Zdrunas Ilgauskas' ankles at that time. Like they didn't know if he was going to make it. So he got a very, very, very small, relative to what he ended up being, a very, very friendly extension. And when they were talking about how this is going to open up money for the Golden State Warriors in 16, it wasn't a lot of talk about Durant at the time, but they were saying, hey, the Golden State Warriors have a chance in 2016 to go after a max contract. They were talking about that in 2014 because of Steph Curry's fortune, blessing in disguise contract extension. So
The goal is to just expect things to happen.
We may have said this before it became public, Gerald. I'm sorry to say, I know a lot of people out there might think we're stupid, but I'm sorry. I don't like to boast about what I say, but I was talking about 2027 way before it became public. It's on tape. All you got to do is go back in March, February, somewhere around there. So, and this is before the Mark Walter ownership took over. Because this is how it plays out. You got to put yourself in a position to be prepared for it. What if Jokic does not sign an extension? What if Giannis plays out 2 more years and becomes a free agent? You have to play for that too, especially when you're in the position you're in as a Laker. They're really going to clear the salaries out in 2026. Maybe they'll get a demand from somebody next summer.
So according to your visionary tactics of the future, and again, I'm more of the
it's not visionary.
We should try to win
it's how when you've been watching this thing for 20 years, when you've seen, God, I've spent more time on this damn Hoops Hype salary structured page. I don't think I've spent more time on NBA salary pages than I have on my own website. I'm talking like 100 times more. Last 20 years, I mean, I've only had my website probably 7 years. So obviously, yeah, but even then, even in that timeline, after a while, you start to see the calculations. I mean, I'm not a math whiz. I mean, I'm good with numbers. I mean, that's why my business, I'm in the business of numbers. After a while, you start to get a sixth sense for how things are going to develop. So there's a sixth sense that you develop when you keep reading the same numbers over and over again. Okay, salary cap this. Okay, goes up 7%. Okay, goes up 10%. Okay, what's going to happen? Giannis has an opt-out in 2027, and right now there's no sign of any extension, and maybe he's going to give those guys a shot. Why? Because you've seen how these guys work. You've seen ownership, and you've seen Giannis react to each other. You notice how Giannis isn't out there jerking off with Rich Paul going, are we going or are we not? You don't hear that stuff from Giannis's camp, do you? You don't see any passive aggressiveness in that camp, do you? No. But I did suggest a theory. I said, why would Giannis want to demand a trade right now when this organization has bent over backwards to try to make you compete? Hey, man, winning a championship is hard, man. It's really hard, even when you do things right. So why wouldn't he be loyal to them 2 more years? Giannis is not going to be that old in the summer of 2027. He probably still has 3 or 4 years left. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take an MVP Luka with Giannis as the second guy, and by then maybe the Lakers already have a third guy.
33-year-old Giannis.
I mean, look at James Harden. Look at Paul George. They're still getting max contracts and playing.
Giannis, he still uses a lot more of his athleticism than those guys do. I'll just leave it at that. Giannis
uses his athleticism, but he's so long. It's not. He's not, in my view. He's not putting. His size is very abnormal, right? He's got these arms like Inspector Gadget, legs like Inspector Gadget. He takes a couple steps. He's at the rim. He doesn't have to fight through traffic like Kobe would have to back in the day. Giannis just needs a little space. He takes one step here, one step there. Boom, he's at the rim. Plus, if he's got Luka passing him the ball in his prime, it's going to be a little easier for him to get into the gaps and get in separation. And Giannis is not going to be the only guy, by the way. The Lakers will have started building around Luka and the future 1A. But what other choice do we have? Are we going to get Wembanyama in 2027? Is he going to demand to be traded? Are we going to get SGA? Is he going to say something in a couple of years where I want out? Is Jason Tatum going to do that? I don't have any evidence of that. I'm relying on Jokic and Giannis at this point. Giannis did not sign the extension. What does that tell you? That means he's thinking about it. And I don't know shit. I'm just going off what I'm seeing and just some of the normal calculations of how the cap works and how these contracts are going to end or where the opt-outs are. Maybe
so
there's something these guys know.
So to answer Dwight's question he's been asking for about 20 minutes now. And by the way, BTS hopes you'll say hi to him. Question for you. When do you think Luka will win his first title with the Lakers? If you had to give it a year.
His first title? I feel realistically, I think I could see him winning in 2028.
Which is a shame because you could have, with a organization that's more into winning now, maybe it could have been sooner than that. But again, we may never know. Because like you said, everything could fall in place. Injuries left and right to other teams. Of course, Luka has an MVP season. LeBron still turns back the clock. Who knows? But again, we will see what happens past the trade deadline. The trade deadline, the Lakers may be first in the Pacific Division, second or third in the West, or even first. And that may change the timeline for Rob Pelinka and the Lakers as far as what they believe they can do and what they're going to make the effort to do right away, as opposed to waiting in 26 and 27 for that magical star to come to Los Angeles. We'll see. Be disappointing if they don't.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Just look at the negative of everything?
Oh, just look at realistically everything. That's what I always
If you're going to be realistic.
It's not negative. It's not positive. It's realistic. I look at things always realistic.
Realistic
How
says
you
the Lakers
interpret it
just
is up
flipped.
to you.
The Lakers just flipped a player that's on the downside of his career for a top 3 star in this league that just hit his prime. And then 5 months later, the best ownership in sports just acquired you. What exactly are you worried about?
You saying that Luka won't win a title until 2028.
I'm saying that at the latest.
3 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but Giannis has been playing how long? Since 14? Was it 13? When did he get drafted?
So you're telling me the organization won't be able to field a team around him that will be capable of winning a
LeBron
championship
James
until
needs to
2028?
come off the books so that this team can have a chance to see what's out there. You cannot build a damn team in this CBA with your current structure. You can't. You can't trade LeBron James for better players or at least 2-3 more players. You can't. No, there isn't a market for him. All these trades. I saw trades to Dallas. Like, what the like, where did these assholes come up with this shit?
LeBron James is the only official no trade clause left.
He's got
in
a
the
no
NBA.
trade clause. He ain't going anywhere. He don't want to go. So that means he's going to want to go to a team that is going to win. How the hell are you going to get equal value or at least a little bit of value? Because you're going to be taking players away from whoever that team is. And why the hell would Dallas trade their depth for LeBron James? Maybe straight up for Kyrie, which I wouldn't do unless they gave us like 4 first-round picks. But didn't Lively get surgery for something already?
Yeah, I believe he did, but he's expected to be back.
So Lively's got surgery.
No, that
already.
was AD with the eye. AD with the eye retina.
Wear glasses, AD. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
So
Joe, do you take into account how much better teams will be? Look, CMB, the West has been great since 1999. I don't factor that into anything, really, honestly. They'll never be bad. The Western Conference is very, especially with the landscape of the literal landscape of the country. People are going to want to go west because it's warmer, right? They're going to want to go to LA, the Clippers. God help us all, right? But Steve Ballmer's changed the culture there a little bit, even though they still will always fail when it matters. It's just the culture inside the team is better, right? Anything's better than that piece of shit Donald Sterling. So people are going to want to go to the Clippers. People don't want to go to LA. People don't want to go to Houston. They don't want to go to San Antonio because state tax, still, again, kind of warmer areas. They're going to want to go to Phoenix, warmer areas. Soon there'll be a Vegas team. They're going to want to go to Vegas, warmer area, no state tax. People want to go that way. They don't want to go to Minnesota, even though that's technically should be an East team, but it's a West. Minnesota's. No one wants to go to Minnesota. No one wants to go to Cleveland willingly. No one wants to go to Detroit. That's significant in terms of players. So of course you're going to have that. You're going to have that dominance in the West, and that's what it is.
BTS, no one is questioning Mark Walter and what he's done for the Dodgers and what he should be able to bring to the Lakers. It's the fact that you have to wait how many seasons before that will happen. How much time will take place before that will happen? How many seasons of prime Luka will go by the wayside before that will happen? That's our point. That's the point, Sean.
I don't
been
think
trying to
that
make.
should be a question. He just bought the team. What do you want him to do? Switch it into 3 months? He hasn't even taken ownership yet.
I understand that.
What do you want in the next 2 years to happen?
I
What do you
want
Rob
the
Pelinka,
Lakers to be more of a
done-
win now team.
who's
That's
done
what I
maybe
want.
2 or 3 things out of the 50 that he's done? What do you want him to do?
I wanted him to do a lot of these things. I've been saying it for months.
Do you think this team would have been sold to somebody else if he was doing his job the way you wanted to?
I'm sorry. I'm just telling you. You asked me
He's
what I
not
want.
capable of doing what you want him to do. So what are you going to do? Keep bitching about something that's not going to happen?
Absolutely.
It's not going to happen. Rob Pelinka is a general manager. He is not a player personnel guy.
He's the president of player operations.
Give me a break. I'm a president too of my company. Do I look like a president?
But you make all the decisions.
Yes, correct. But I don't. The
He
name
makes
means
all the
nothing.
he makes all the decisions for the encore product.
No, he doesn't. Genie makes the decision. He does the legwork. He's a secretary.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and worry about something that's not going to matter. It doesn't matter if he sucks or he's good right now. He will not be here. New ownership wants their own people. They're going to bring their own people. Doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter. And as far as you guys worried about Luka's prime, I just told you, Luka's prime is going to be a while. Luka does not rely on athleticism. And if he sticks to being in shape, goodbye to worrying about anything at that point.
So you're just
going to
okay
be here
with
for a
them
decade.
just chalking it up this year to the, another good season, but no real chance of winning. Just a first round loss or something like that. You're cool.
Go ask LeBron James that question. Why are you asking me? It's going to depend on his ass.
Uh-huh.
Okay? I'm not the one that's playing these games, making $50 million a year and winning only 2 playoff games in the last 3 series. And then sitting there yipping about why can't we win? Motherfucker, we can't win because you can't inbound the fucking ball. That's why, when it matters. Why the fuck are you looking at me for? I'm telling you what's going on. If some of you are missing these things, that's why some of the people that watch this show, they're not going to be able to watch 82 games a year. They don't have that time. So we're their voice. I'm telling you what I see. And then really my issue with LeBron James in terms of like what may sound personal.
You're telling me what you
is his
foresee.
personality.
I'm telling you what I see. You're telling us what you foresee. I am telling you what I see now. That's the difference. I'm
guarantee,
down the road.
Guarantee this. Okay. Rob Pelinka will not be running the Lakers when Mark Walters takes over this team. There may be a transitionary period, but it's over. The second this became public, it's over. Okay. It's over. So what am I going to do? Sit here worried about dead man walking? Worried about LeBron, whose contract runs out in 10 months? Why am I going to worry about that? I'm not worried about it. I don't give a shit. My favorite owner outside of Dr. Buss just took over my other favorite team. I mean, I don't even know how to compute that still. It's unbelievable that this happened. I didn't think I knew they had the first right of refusal, but you never know about these things. I don't know how it's going to play out. Maybe they get bored. I'm not paying $10 billion for this. I'm not paying 12. I don't know. That's not what I do. I don't know how that all works, but it happened. So now you took care of 2 of the biggest problems you had. The 2 biggest problems you had in the Lakers is the next star, who we didn't know who the hell was coming, and the other is the leadership in the front office. And they both got solved this year. So I'm going to ride this out. And Luka Doncic, if Luka's upset that he's not going to have a chance at winning this year the way he wants, which I haven't heard any reports that way, you got to be realistic, man. Things have to play. Oklahoma City did it as perfect as you could. As perfect as you could. And they still almost lost. If Halliburton doesn't get hurt, what if they lose? Now what? It's paper thin in the NBA now. Adam Silver has brought back the 70s NBA in terms of parity. 1970 Knicks. Actually, it's worse. It's worse. At least in the 70s, the Knicks won a championship twice in that decade. The Celtics won a championship twice in that decade. This last 7 years, it's one, not even a repeat champion from like another year. It's been 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 7 years in a row, a different team. 7 different for every championship. Not Warriors won in 18 and then won. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm wrong on that. They won in 22. So the Warriors won. You start from 19 then. It would be the last 6 years.
Yeah. Again, we'll agree to disagree on that. Again, I'd like to see the Lakers be more assertive.
I'm not agreeing to anything you agree with or disagree with.
I said we're agreeing.
I'm not disagreeing or agreeing on anything.
Again, you're foreseeing a future. I am seeing.
Is it really foreseeing or is it common sense?
It's foreseeing.
How
Because it
many
hasn't happened
businesses are bought in America, and all of a sudden everybody's
Hasn't happened
saying,
yet, Joe. Has it happened yet?
"What, the sale?
Has it gone through yet?
What, you think it might not go through?"
No. Has it happened? Yes or no? Has it gone through yet? Has it been approved by the owners as of yet?
No,
Then you are foreseeing the future, which
no, I'm
you
not
are
foreseeing the
probably
future.
very
The owners are
correct
not
on.
saying no.
Which you are correct on many of the things that you said. I'm not going to dispute that. But I want this team to be in a position to win a championship now. They have something that's very desirable with a lot of expiring assets that a lot of these other teams covet. Could have made it a better effort to do that this summer, but you didn't. I'll just leave it at that. But again, tomorrow,
They don't have any draft picks to give. They have one, really.
they have expiring money.
Who are they going to trade for expiring money? Who?
We've been talking about all summer, Joe. We've said names all
Because
summer
there's
long.
the
and it's
names.
just gone on
Why
by.
would they trade those guys for expire? Why would you trade them for those guys? Those guys are bums.
All the guys in the NBA that we
Vincent
talked about.
and Kleber are bums. Why would they trade talent
money
for
coming
bums?
off your books if they want to do the same thing that the Lakers are targeting.
What
for
team is
2027.
going to give you the talent that you want back? That's not 4 or 5 years later. What? Jeremy Grant in Portland? You want him to go get that guy and throw in a first-round pick? That's
We've
probably
been
what
talking
came at
about
them.
these names all summer, and all of them either been traded away
And they're
or locked
signing
up.
back on their teams. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to trade
The
equal
Lakers did
value.
have-
It's not.
again,
It doesn't make any sense.
we are agreeing. Yes, it does make perfect
There is no
sense.
agreeing to disagree. You need to use You need to use brains here.
Use your brain.
Who is going to give
You
you
are
better talent
in-
for Austin Reeves? You guys have been bitching and whining about this damn
You
trade
even
with
had
Austin Reeves. Who's
you
going to
even
give you a
had-
better player for Austin Reeves?
You even had names that you had mentioned, starting with Jonathan Isaac, when you were on that.
I
several
said
weeks
that during
ago.
the season.
No, you said that during the after the season ended as well.
Okay, so why didn't Orlando do it? Don't
Why
they
didn't
need
the
a?
Lakers do it?
Oh wait, oh that's right. They went after Desmond Bain. Then I stopped talking about it.
Okay, but that was a possibility.
We're basing this off of now. I'm not basing it.
Well,
off
I am
of,
basing off it now. I want the Lakers to try to make a better effort to build a team around Luka now.
Wow.
But you say they can't
How?
with
With
the
who?
expiring contracts that they have available to them.
Who are they going to get for that without having to give up draft capital?
Joe, again, I mentioned players from New Orleans, Atlanta, New York,
And
Orlando.
all signed back on their teams.
Well,
Now
before
what?
then, Joe, before that, now you're screwed. Now it's already done with. Now we just have to go to bat with the team that we have. But unfortunately,
I want
it
here.
doesn't look
I'm
like
going to
it's
throw
gonna
this out
be
here.
much
Fuck
more
it.
success.
How about LaMelo Ball? Let's say LaMelo Ball says, "I want out of here." How about
Why
that?
would you want LaMelo Ball? It's the same player.
Because I can't figure out what the hell you're talking about anymore. Now I'm going like rogue. What if LaMelo calls Charlotte's whoever and says, "I want out. I'm out. I want you to trade me right now." Okay, let's talk. Now what? You sending Austin over there? You sending a first-round pick and a couple of expiring contracts? What? What are you doing? And what is LaMelo going to do for your team at that point?
You're just
Is
throwing
he going to be able to play defense as a two guard?
We were throwing LaMelo Ball out there before Luka Doncic, but we're not.
And are you willing to sacrifice what could happen in a year, just a year, so that you can feel the climax of competing now when you've got 700 different things going on with this organization?
This team had a chance.
You have
to
an
compete
idiot
now.
who keeps yapping about bullshit off the court and having his cronies do it.
Okay, Joe. Again, the Lakers had assets.
You got to get rid of LeBron. You want to really compete year in and year out, you got to get rid of LeBron. He's done. He's been done. And anyone who doesn't believe this doesn't know shit about fucking basketball. Okay? You cannot pay someone $52 million who can't inbound the fucking ball. Okay? Gives you 2 wins. 2 with Luka, without Luka. You cannot have this happen. 2 wins in 3 series, making $50 million a year, telling me about stats. And all-time scoring stats? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? When you get 2 playoff wins in your last 3 seasons in those 3 series. Explain that to me. And then come talk to me about competing this year. With
That's
what?
exactly why they.
How do you want to compete? What are you going to get when $52 million is on one guy?
You just backed up everything I've been saying. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. The fact that they've only won 2 is exactly the reason why you need to use those assets you have to build a better team. Thank you, Joe. You just backed up everything I said. It is, of course, the Lakers.
Out of all the dumb things you've said the last week, that is the dumbest one.
You just backed up everything I
said. I'm giving you a reason why they can't. Why it's a struggle.
A reason why they can't.
It's a struggle because one guy's making $50 million. That's not doing what he's supposed to do. It's, what is that? What am I speaking? Swahili? What exactly? What language? I know 3 other languages. If you want me to say it in those languages.
You know that $53 million player to some was a 3rd-team All-NBA player last year.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that was great. That really felt good after Minnesota won Game 4 in the first round. What is that All-NBA
maybe if
place
we had a better team around?
Are you going to put that on the wall?
You just said yourself, had they had DeAndre Ayton there, they would have been more competitive in that first round.
What does that have to do with what I just said about this year?
That's why you build a better team around LeBron.
Oh, that's great. Hey, you know what, guys? If you have a good diet and you work out every day, you'll be in good shape. Thanks, Gerald. I really appreciate you putting that together. Now, how are you going to do that with the salary cap the way it is and the CBA the way it is? Explain it to me. Oh, I'm going to trade Austin Reeves and a first-round pick and a bunch of swaps for what? For who? That's going to make this team better.
These are discussions we've had all summer long.
And they've gone nowhere because it doesn't make sense. You have to get rid of LeBron James. You are 10 months away. Get rid of LeBron James. If Rui doesn't want to come back, if you can't find a trade partner for him, if Austin thinks he's worth $45 million, sayonara. The difference between this coming year ending versus 2 years ago when we were worried about D'Angelo Russell signing an extension is that the cap, they're going to be under the cap versus where they wouldn't have been under the cap 2 years ago. That's why I was pressing that they signed Russell so they don't lose that money. Because if they hadn't signed him, they still lose that money. This is how the system works. When they agree on in the CBA that these players are going to make 51%, owners are going to make 49%, or whatever the hell it is, that's what guarantees that percentage.
So if they win another 50 games this year,
it's not hard.
They win another 50 games this year. Luka's an MVP player. You wouldn't want to build a better team around him? They could compete more in the playoffs? Sorry, Joe. You're going to lose this argument. You will every time.
You lost this argument a month ago.
You lost it.
It is a stupid
month ago,
question.
The Lakers had a better chance.
How? Explain how.
Joe, there are 30, 40 shows that you could already take care of your explanation.
You're delusional. This is how things don't work out in life for people.
All because of LeBron. You
have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
No, you don't.
Oh,
you're
nice
foreseeing
comeback.
A future. You are foreseeing a future when Mark Walters gets. And again, I'm not disputing that. Mark Walter is a brilliant and has been a brilliant owner. And that's great that the heavens are going to open up and everything's just going to be fine with flower gardens and everything's magical and all that. I will not dispute your word on Mark Walter as far as how he's been as an owner and how most likely he will be down the road. But the fact is, we have to wait. We're going to be in a waiting pattern until that day comes. And that's the problem. The Lakers should always be a win-now organization, especially with Boston right now down for the count. Because by the time Mark Walter fully takes hold of the organization and fully gets this team in a direction you want to, and I both wanted to go, you don't think Boston will be better prepared by that time around? In a weakened East still? Got no answers to that, do you?
You're a buffoon. You have no idea what the hell you're talking about. No, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm not.
So you think
drunk either.
Boston's just going to stand pat and be the way that it is for the
I don't
next
know who the hell these new owners. I don't know how the hell these new owners are going to play in Boston.
Okay. Yeah, but who's still the GM? Who's still the player personnel director of that team? Who is still in charge?
You're still bitching at Rob Pelinka even after getting Luka. So what is this discussion right now? You're talking about a guy that's not even going to be there. You want to compete now with what? How? With what money that you're going to be allowed to go get whatever the hell it is that you want? With what talent are you going to trade?
Okay. If they go through another season again, winning 50 games, getting everybody's hopes up.
Clueless. Absolutely clueless. No
You're the
idea
one
what the
that's
hell you're
clueless.
talking about. Zero.
You don't.
Damn
You're
buffoon.
No, I got you there, Joe. And you
And
can't.
everybody,
You went silent right there. You went
because
speechless.
Because at
You
some
went
point, when
speechless
the
there.
brain
I
doesn't
threw
work for
something
somebody,
at you.
you just let
I
them
threw
talk
a
until they
curveball,
put themselves in
and
a bad position.
Struck out. You
didn't
struck
strike
out
shit.
right there.
No, you didn't know
went
anything.
speechless.
You knew nothing.
Right there. It was
You know
beautiful
nothing.
to watch.
Nothing.
Absolutely beautiful.
You knew
to watch.
nothing.
You're expecting.
You're asking the
everybody
same
in the league
stupid
to
question
stand still.
all summer. Why don't we compete now? Okay. How do we compete now?
Everything's going to be great.
We got to trade. We got to trade Gabe Vincent and Kleber. Oh, for what? What is Rob gonna? What is he gonna turn that into? What? What is he gonna turn shit into? What? What do you want him to go get? Mikal Bridges for that? Like, where is he gonna get talent for that? You gonna trade Austin Reeves?
Exactly why you tried to be more of a win now team if you were the
How?
Los Angeles.
You still haven't answered that question. I've asked it fucking 100 times.
I've told you how over the past few weeks. The time
trade
is
LeBron. You want to do that? Trade LeBron.
That window is gone.
Maybe somebody was stupid enough to
get
him.
They had opportunities before the draft to get multiple players for their expiring assets.
Tell me,
multiple players who could contribute.
All the guys that signed back with their teams.
It's too late now. It's too late now for the most part. We're stuck with this team that we have, which hopefully will give us a chance to compete for a title. Because Mark thinks so, and I really hope Mark is right.
Who's Mark?
Xbox. You know, the guy from down under.
Mark,
our
Mark.
Moderator.
Oh, yeah, Mark.
He gets so mad arguing with me. He gets so... Nothing but love for you, Mark. Nothing but love for you, Mark. He always sides with you anyways, Joe. So,
Well, he sides with it because I told you, you've known this. Australians and me click have always been that. Even before Mark and Vari, I even knew Vari. Australians and I always clicked in my entire life. I don't know what it is about Australia.
You're going to have to go down to Australia. I would love to go.
No, I'm going to plan to get over there probably next year. That's the plan.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, this has always been that way. I don't know what it is. I don't know why.
All right. Well, on that note, again, later today, because it is now Thursday, pretty much on the entire U.S. except for Hawaii and Alaska. I want to go ahead and mention later today, it is the Lakers at 6 p.m. and what most likely will be their final game of Summer League. So we'll go ahead and put that up for you on playback. I'll be checking the game out live, but I do have to jet probably around halftime. But I will be back for the post game here on this channel at 8:30, right about there. So go ahead and make sure you're part of it. So I'm not stirring. I'm pretty relaxed. I've been throughout. I'm pretty good. Smile on my face. All's good. Joe likes arguing anyways. It's just Joe. He brings up valid points about the future. I bring up valid points about now, and I'll leave it at that. But again, Dwight, if Luka doesn't win a chip in the next 5 years, how will it affect his legacy? It's a good question. So let's say it isn't 2028. Let's say it's 2030 and he's still searching for that ring. What would you say about Luka at that time? I mean, he'll still have plenty of years yet left. I mean,
what if my hair falls out in 3 years? What if I get hit by a car?
I hope not.
I don't know.
I don't want you to get hit by a car.
I don't have an answer with that stuff. When in the history of let's look at the history of the Lakers. When have they acquired a star in their history and not won a championship?
But there's still one behind Boston. That's what irks.
The answer is never. So since Wilt
Okay.
Chamberlain in the 60s, Kareem in the 70s, Shaq in the 90s, Powell in the 2000s, LeBron and AD in the 2010s, all ended up with championships. So why would you not think that Luke is going to not win one?
I'm just saying that's the question that was laid out to you. So.
The question is, you look at history as a barometer, especially with the Lakers.
That's a good question, Lakers 60. Yeah, maybe they do have a back-to-back. Hold on. I thought the playoffs started then, but I'll check. It's a good question. So maybe that is not their last game.
What was the question?
I'll go check. Oh, seeing that they might, he says they have a back-to-back on Friday as well. So he could be right. I thought the playoffs started on Friday. I'll check.
You know, John Stockton didn't win a championship in 19 years. Does he suck? Joe Sorrell, Laker, whatever the hell your name is.
Checking out Friday. Yeah, if you look on the NBA site, Lakers 60, I'm looking on NBA.com. They have nothing listed. Oh yeah, wait, hold on. Yeah, maybe they do. Yeah, you're right. They play Denver at 7. Yeah, on Friday. Okay, so you're right. Their playoffs are Saturday and Sunday only. It used to be longer. Oh, cutting that down. Okay.
Dr. Buss was successful when he first bought the team because he was an innovator too, and he was.
So the Lakers will have 2 games left, Thursday and Friday. Go ahead and help you guys out. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Dr. Buss was an innovator at the time when he bought the team. If you look at the history of the ownerships in the NBA around that time, a lot of them were archaic, old, decrepit, old money, just blue hairs. Dr. Buss may have been older, but he was very innovative. Dr. Buss was a genius. He was a master of numbers. He's a doctor in chemistry. And he knew people too. So not only was he a nerd when it came to the books, he also happened to be the guy that could do both. He had a personality and was a scientist, which is a very rare thing. It's almost like being an artist who's a really good businessman. Kind of like a really good actor, a really good musician who's a good business person, sorry. But that ran its course. Much like Mark Cuban, as much as I want to puke when I give him any credit, Mark Cuban, when he bought the Mavericks were an absolute just disaster of a franchise. They were the worst. They were the Cincinnati Bengals of the 90s for the NBA. And he bought them and brought this energy and this innovative next level type stuff until now, when now he's the old guy. Genie's the old person. Because now the big money guys, the real big money guys, are the ones taking over because they're the ones that have the resources to do it.
So with that, it is the Lakers fast break. You're right, Lakers 60. It is, of course, they're going to play 2 final games on Thursday, Friday. I guess they're shortening down the playoffs, which is kind of weird, but all right, what have you. It is, of course, the Lakers fast break.
I knew somebody was going to ask me this. I was hoping to avoid it. JY asked the question. Go ahead and read it.
Which one? Was that JY's question? Oh, Joe and G, what's your opinion of the Bleachers Report top 20? Did they get it right, and who can crack the top 20 with today's players?
Anyone who puts Kobe at 11 should have their media credentials, their voting for anything relevant removed, and they should not talk about the topic.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's all we need to say on that one. I think
Kobe Bryant, and you can write the.
We agree. Joe and I agree on something.
You can hang this on the wall. You can put this in your files. It's Michael Jordan 1 and Kobe Bryant 2.
Kobe's not at least in your top 10.
I saw both play with my own eyes. and I've never seen anyone play basketball better than those two. Magic Johnson's the other one, but I got the tail end of Magic. And if you think that Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Allen Iverson, and those guys could be switched for Kobe during the Shaq and Kobe run, you don't know basketball either. I would give AI maybe one of those titles in that three-peat. Tracy McGrady or Vince Carter, they wouldn't have won shit. Gilbert Arenas wouldn't have won shit. Dwayne Wade, maybe one with that three-peat. Not a three-peat.
Yeah, Kobe is. If Kobe's not in there in someone's top 10, I can't. That's just That's
Kobe Bryant is the second greatest basketball player I've ever seen. That's, you can call it a biased opinion. I don't give a shit. He is. I've said this a few times on here. Michael Jordan beats Kobe because he had another gear that God gave him. Big hands and an extra fast twitch gear that Kobe didn't have. And he also accomplished the perfect feat, which is every time he was on the biggest stage, he never failed. Kobe, unfortunately, failed twice there. That matters. I know it might not be fair, but it's true. That plays a factor in that. If Kobe wins in 2004 and wins in 2008, the conversation completely changes because Kobe would be 7-0 in the finals and likely have at least another finals MVP. And the dynamics of the Laker franchise and how it separates from the Celtics and the fact that he'd have 2 3-peats and a 4 championship out of 5, like all that stuff can be put into that conversation and it changes everything.
So before we go, Joe, Dwight's asking your top 3. I'm
top
assuming
3.
You said
top
Jordan,
3.
Kobe,
I'm gonna say my top 3 in my coherent seeing the player and going, wow, in my time. It's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James.
Oh, there you go.
I can't judge Kareem only based off of what I've seen in his prime. I wasn't old enough. Magic, I got the tail end of Magic. I didn't get Magic between 1980 and 1988. I didn't watch basketball when I was 8, 9, 10 years old like that. The 3 best basketball players since I would say 1991 was the first year I was invested, and I have a memory of it, and I was in it, and I was all about it. 91 to 2000, that's 34 years. It's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. I love AI, believe me, but AI fell flat quicker. Actually, he fell flat quicker than I thought he would. Tracy McGrady had a good 3-4 year run. Vince Carter, he was never really like a scary player, just an amazing highlight. Like he was the Dominique Wilkins of our era. Tim Duncan is the number 4, but you can't pick Duncan over Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. Those 3 guys are just better basketball players than Duncan. Duncan is the second best team basketball player I've seen behind Magic. I think that's it.
All right. Well, with that, it is the Lakers fast break. Thank you, Lakers history, for the correction on the
Hakeem. You're right,
games.
legend. You're right, legend. Hakeem is in the top 5, and Jokic is starting to get into that top 5 right now. Like
Jokic is the best player of the decade.
If you go 5,
no one can argue with me.
Yeah, if you go 5, right now it's Jordan, it's Kobe, it's LeBron, Duncan. See, Duncan, Hakeem, or Jokic, that's a hard one. Those last 2 are hard between those 3. But I'd probably pick Hakeem and Duncan.
It is, of course, the Lakers fast break. The Lakers have their next to last game coming up here as far as tomorrow at 6 p.m. So go ahead and check it out on playback.tv. South Lakers fast break. I'll be here for the post game around 8:30. So go ahead and check it out. Joe, I want to thank you for stopping by. Any last thoughts before we head on it?
No.
All right. Big shout out to Intel Wild once again for not only the super chats but also gifting out. I believe 5 or was it 10? He gifted out some memberships. Thank you so much for doing so. That was very kind of you to do so. Also, as well, big shout out to 805 for the super chats and everybody. Just great chat tonight. I was watching the chat throughout. Great questions that they threw to us, but great conversation between each other. You guys didn't always like Joe. We didn't always agree, but it was still a great conversation on basketball and the Lakers right here. So that's always good to see when you have a good crowd doing that. So,
And for the new people that have witnessed this for the first time, I don't need drugs or alcohol to be a complete and utter disaster for your lives.
I like the one that says, "Is Joe drunk?" No, not Joe is not drunk today.
No, when I'm drunk, I'm a happy guy. You want me drunk because I'm a happy drunk.
There is an episode where he did get blitzed to the point where he was just laughing at anything. You could have told him, "Hey, behind you, the wall is white," and he would have started laughing. So yes, it was hilarious. I don't remember which one that is, but yes, even after he told me he went up there, he said, "Gerald, I think I'm effed up." I don't even know if he made it. I don't know if he made it the couch.
Those nights that I've gotten faded, I mean, I pass out as soon as I get off air.
Because you were, there was one. You were really gone. But I'll leave it.
I don't need much to sleep. I don't need much to sleep. I could sleep. I've slept standing up before.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm
the
exact opposite.
I feel bad for people who can't sleep at night. I really do. And maybe it's because it's high octane all day. Mm-hmm. I'm not yelling all over the place. I'm not like that. But the brain.
Oh, the brain is always, Mateja.
Yeah, the brain is always calculating, and I think that's just maybe by sheer luck or whatever, I'm able to let the computer shut off on its own, and that's what happens. I lay down, I'll pop the TV on, and then I'm out. Sometimes I'm able to turn the TV off. Sometimes it just depends. I don't drink coffee, Legend. I don't drink coffee.
I don't drink coffee, Legend, either. I used to drink Coca-Cola by the gallon, but I stopped that in my mid-40s. It was ripping me apart. So yeah, I don't. This Sprite is what I do as far as for soda for me, and that's it. Mateja, greetings to you all the way in Slovenia. If you're in the Philippines,
hey, that's cool. Really?
Yeah, say hi to Luca for us if he's around there. Yeah, make sure if you see Luca, ask for a photo. He's taking photos seemingly with everybody to show how much weight he lost. So just
you think that's why he's doing it?
Yes, I think that's why he's doing it.
Are you sure? Because I've always seen him give pictures to people.
No, he's good with fans. I don't want to put anything down. But come on, Joe. It just seems like he's been very, very photogenic this summer. More than most.
He looks like he's dropped 30 pounds.
That's exactly why he's being photogenic.
Congratulations. I dropped 30 pounds too.
You know what? He's great with the fans regardless. And I'm not trying to fault him at all. But again, he's taken more pictures with fans than a normal summer. I'll just leave it at that. But maybe Dallas fans can correct me.
Dude, he's going to lose more weight during the season too. That's great.
Yes.
An NBA player on the average loses about 15 pounds during the season. At least. Now, a lot of these guys are already lean as hell.
Let's see what he does in August. Let's see if he can look like this in September and October. We'll see. But once again, it is Joe Soro along with me, Joe Glassford. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening. We'll be back later today to talk about the NBA, talk about the Lakers Summer League. Can we get a turnaround from Dalton? Will Bronny put back-to-back good games together? Is Cole Swider, Darius Baisley, or RJ Stewart, are they hopefuls for a two-way? Can they get a training camp invite with some good performances in the next couple of days? We'll find out. Thameless, it usually does right about through free agency. It's starting to die off a little bit. But August, that's the dead month for us. What happens when we come out of August? Because I'm going to take some time off a little bit in August for about a week to go on vacation. Joe's probably going to got some vacation plans too. And everybody knows August is the dead month for the NBA unless some major trade happens. That's the thing. Can we get a larger audience coming out of it in September or October? We'll have to wait and see because Obviously, I've told you guys, been very upfront with you, what constitutes a successful channel. We're not quite there yet. We're not self-sustaining. We're not where we can go ahead and make a living from this yet. But with your help, maybe someday we can. 25,000 views per episode is always the goal I've put out there for years now, and that's our goal, and we're going to stick to it. Hopefully, we can go ahead and do that indeed. But Dwight, you may not be wrong on that, but hopefully, we'll see a better performance starting tomorrow from Dalton or later today, and hopefully, you guys will be out there with us tomorrow or later tonight after the game. Again, I'll probably check out the first half there at the Thomas and Mack and be back in time to go ahead and do a post game. Hopefully with Joe, maybe with Sean, maybe with other people, if they want to stop on by right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great evening, everyone. Be safe.